Hi, everyone, and thank you for tuning in to another episode of CanadaOnlineHealth.ca Presents. In today's episode of Ask the Pharmacist, we're speaking to a pharmacist friend of ours, Jason Pankratz, who runs an online pharmacy here in Canada. And he's here to answer a few questions about the difference between generic medications and brand name medications for our American listeners. Hi, Jason. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, Kate. I'm happy to be here.
Excellent. Let's dive right into this. First of all, can you tell us what is a generic medication?
Generic medication is the equivalent to a brand medication. So it's determined to be interchangeable in the country that it's being sold. So it's got the same active ingredient inside the generic product, and it looks the same. Not always, but often it does. And the side effects are the same. The dosages are usually the same, and generally they're determined to be interchangeable because they're equivalent. And there's a big cost difference between a generic and a brand medication. So in the U.S., there also the brand name medications are patented like they are in Canada, and sometimes manufacturers, the original manufacturer of the brand medication, will hold their patents for quite a long time, and sometimes often longer than they're being held in Canada, which is why sometimes generic medications are available in Canada or even some other countries around the world sooner than they might become available in the U.S.
So, we've talked about the generic medications. So, can you tell us what makes a brand name medication so special?
Well, brand name medications are patented and marketed by the company that invented the drug, and they're expensive as the intent of patenting allows the branded company to recoup their development costs. So patenting allows the innovator to market and sell the drug in order to make a profit over a period of years.
So, now that we know the difference between the generic and brand name medications, let's take a look at a couple of examples here. We've got a couple of generic medications and a couple of brand name. Jason, can you take us through this slide?
Sure, we've got two examples here. Looks like Cialis for erectile dysfunction, and we've got Restasis for chronic dry eyes due to inflammation. And it looks like if you chose a generic over a brand name product, you'd be saving about 35%.
Well, what strikes me about this slide is that the comparison is of only two medications, and I'm sure that most people listening would agree that it's not unusual for more than one person in a household to be on more than one medication at a time. So, if you add up all these medications, the price difference can be completely staggering between if they had to use brand name versus affordable generic medications.
Absolutely. And, another thing on that slide is we're comparing two Canadian medications, brand versus generic. And we haven't even talked about what the cost of this brand name medication might be in the U.S.
Well, for sure. And clearly there's a cost savings, and a lot of Americans don't even know that ordering generic prescription medications from Canada is safe, legal, and it's an affordable option. What else can you tell us about this, Jason?
Well, if you're going to order from Canada or from a Canadian company, there's lots of rogue companies or rogue websites out there that are not certified or they're not working with licensed pharmacies. And one of the things you can do, especially if you're ordering from a Canadian company, is a lot of the Canadian companies will be CIPA certified. CIPA is the Canadian International Pharmacy Association, and usually there's a seal located on the website. Make sure that seal works. If you click on it, it should actually take you to the CIPA site and show you that that pharmacy or that company is certified with CIPA.
So clearly, doing your homework is really necessary to make sure that when you're ordering your medications, are ordering them from a trusted, safe, and certified site.
Yes, absolutely.
So this concludes CanadaOnlineHealth.ca presents Ask the Pharmacist. Thank you, Jason, for taking your time to share your insights and experience with our listeners. And to all our listeners, remember, if you have any questions or want to learn more about us, please visit www.CanadaOnlineHealth.ca. And you can also give us a phone call toll free at 1-800-399-DRUG. That's 1-800-399-3784. So thank you and have a great day.
Thanks, Kate.